Okay, let's begin it now. Hello everyone. My name is Hiba Latifee. As you all know, I happen to be the IEEE NEDUET chairperson. Uh, it is actually an honor to be able to, uh, you know, communicate my views, initially my views, and why NEDUET and why Pakistan in general has achieved so far. It is an honor actually, to be very honest. To start it off, I would like to firstly thank, because this is actually uh, a great initiative that has been taken by IEEE Women in Engineering. Thank the IEEE Women in Engineering people, all around the world. Madam Karen Pinetta, Ms. Kiana Tenen, the Region 10 chairs, everybody who actually deemed this as an activity which is motivating, which is actually the forte of IEEE. IEEE's forte happens to be uh, networking. That's how people connect with each other. People who are professionally focused, they have commonality as far as their interests are concerned, and they're working towards a converging goal, that is to make life actually better for the world by incorporating what engineering has to offer. So that is something great, and I would like to thank them, congratulate them for initializing something that is great. So IEEE NED, as most of you know. So let's assume a lot of you know about it, and let's assume, okay, let's just deliberate it for people who don't know about it. NED University happens to be one of the most prestigious engineering university in Pakistan. I happen to be lucky enough to be a part of this, prestigious university. It has, it is a multidisciplinary university. It has got varied departments, has got varied fields where you can excel, you can actually discover yourself, you can, uh, it actually comes down to the fact that you have a neck for engineering. So I believe being associated with a university of this caliber, it does add up to a lot. It does bolster your skills, it does make you, it polishes you all around. So just that you're not just an engineer when you graduate, you're an engineer who is actually, working towards making other people more knowledgeable, educating them to the fullest. So NED University is actually in Karachi, that happens to be a part of Pakistan. There has been a perceived view that, engineering, obviously, as it is actually perceived as, it is a profession, or it is a career that is actually opted by, the male, members of the society. It is actually something that, the boys or the male, the men actually have a neck for that. To be very honest, okay, let's just start with why is it for men, or why is it like, because of the fact that it actually requires you, like every other field, every other profession, to mobilize. It's very important for you to mobilize. I actually don't perceive it that way. And to some astonishment, at NED University, I have seen more girls actually in the faculty that I am at right now, the computer information systems one. We have a ratio that is actually more like 60-50. 60 per, the ratio, the girls ratio is actually, superseding the one of the guys. So obviously there's some particular fields that are, that's why we are here. There are some particular fields that are actually more, they have got the guys in it a lot. But it's education, it's knowledge, it's working towards the betterment that matters the most. It should not be determined by the number of men or women that we have in any faculty, to be very honest. We are all part of the society. So I believe, whether there are guys there, whether there are girls there, we need to inculcate in every human being there that they need to become a better part of the society by contributing, either intellectually, Socially, of course, you have to contribute socially. So that was like a little overview that I had to like skim over, kind of like dig deep down in it. So we're gonna start off with why NEDUET, IEEE NEDUET, how it all started, when did it, when was it established in NED. So it was 4 years back that we had an affinity group, added to the lucrative and very, very, active IEEE student branch of NEDUET. The Y Affinity group of NEDUET was formed 4 years back. And since then, there has been no looking back. It has always climbed one step after the other. And I must say, 4 years in the running, it has done pretty phenomenal. I have actually been blessed with the fact that there were a lot of people before me who had laid the foundation. So we had the first chair of IEEE NEDUET was Nimra Hashmi. She happens to be a person who is very well known in the IEEE circuit, in the Karachi section circuit. She has done innumerable services as far as the IEEE NEDUET, in particular NED is concerned. She has contributed so much in putting down the standards that we are now liable to follow, by initiating programs that incorporated the corporate world with the engineers to be. It's very important to lessen that gap between the ones who are actually in the process to become those engineers, and the people who already have that industry. They have that settled infrastructure, they have that they actually are they have the reins actually, just to put it very shortly. So she inaugurated the very, it has become a legacy. She had the Career Expo. It was in her tenure that we had the first ever Career Expo. Still happens to be the biggest corporate event in NED that caters to the whole country. It actually encompasses the whole country. And due to the overwhelming success of that event, we have still got that event going on. It's like a legacy going on. To this day, we still have that event going on. So we're just going to skim over whatever has happened in the 4 years. We're just going to go chair by chair, maybe, the milestone type. Okay, so after Nimra Hashmi, we had Angela Khan. She was again, but at that time we had actually, we had set the bars. So in 2009 and 2008, we had a pretty, brisk activities in NED as far as Y is concerned. What we were trying to do, bridging the gap between the technical students and the real world. That's what we wanted to do. You're not different from the real world. You need to know that you can, like I actually mentioned before. So we were trying to find ways or events to get engineers to realize they are no different in any other profession. They can contribute, as far as environment is concerned. They can use the technical skills to the fullest. So we had Angela Khan, and in between 2011 and in 2010 and 2011, we kind of had, this is the Y NED a little bit dormant. So it had to be done. Something had to be done in order to instigate or kind of get the society to where to that level when it had all started. So that took a great courage from actually everyone. The people, the branch counselors, the dean, everybody put in whatever they had in store, and they gave it all. They wanted IEEE to redeem itself, because it had made its mark then. It just had to gather it all up. So By the time we reached 2012, yep, that was last year, we actually had the spur going in favor of IEEE. We started off with events that had different, what should I say? It was actually encompassing every field, every ambit of life. We started off with having an event. It was actually the chair of 2012 was Wahaba Hussain. We had an inaugural society for NED, the NED Photography Society, and with that we had an event that was actually to propagate the technicalities and the very intricate, the details that we have to, keep in mind as engineers, whatever goes around in our photography basically. So we had an event then, that was Click It. That was at the start of it. Then we had a membership development in 2012. That was the chair of IEEE and the chair of Y. They did a great job. They actually reached out to a lot of people, and it was to garner more and more uh, members into the IEEE circuit, to let them know of the benefits that IEEE and Y has to offer. Not only as far as giving scholarships is concerned, but getting to know what new technologies are. It followed up with the events comprising or dealing with speakers that can actually bring out that very important element in you that is needed. You become an engineer, at the end of the day you need to market your product. You need to market your idea, whatever intellectual property or physical property you are actually possessing. You need to market that. So throughout the 2012, mostly, majorly, we actually tried to get the importance of presenting your idea, which is one of the most vital, uh, should I say ingredient? Yeah, I think I should say ingredient. In actually marketing yourself. That's really important. No matter how great idea you have, it's really important that you decipher it. You let the other person know that how it can help them and how it can be beneficial for them and the rest of them. So there were motivational speakers, there were people who instructed different students on how to polish up their, basic CV writing skills, basic interviewing skills, how to really be able to, curb all that, nerves that you have at that time. Because it's really important, at the end of the day, you need to be able to become, you need to progress as an engineer. So it's an all-round you. There's not just whatever you have actually come up with. It's how you actually go about it. So that's what it actually had. So we had a lot of workshops, on different software applications. We have different language courses. So at the end of all of this, IEEE had actually, it emerged to us that we should have something that can eventually tell the world that engineering lets you speak out. It actually lets you, be somebody who can let his or her views. You can let your views across the table and let the other people. You can actually decipher your words, your work pretty well. So we had the inaugural NED Model United Nations, which is very important if you ask me, because as somebody who is oblivious of what is happening around them, somebody who doesn't realize that there's so much poverty, but there's a need for people, there's a need for a curriculum, renew, or what are actually the things that we are lagging in any aspect, in any front, we won't be able to actually find out what is our goal. Our goal is to make the world a better place at the end of the day, right? So we are all working towards easing things out, making things better for people around us, making life easier for them, making them able to multitask. So it was important to have this debating, event. It is more of an event that instills in you the capabilities to be convincing, to be able to know what is happening around the world, to know the problems that the people are facing, and to think of solution, viable solution. That is what we engineers do. We need to know um, the problems. As a software engineer, people who do different, computer programming, they know that their task at the end of the day is about solving problems. There are different errors. That's what they do. They try to solve those problems. So as engineers, we are eventually problem solvers. So that was a great venture for NED. We accomplished something that was new at NED, that was inaugural, and it it struck to many that women in engineering is about empowering women in all ambits of life. They need to be empowered academically, they need to be empowered, you know, professionally, they need to be empowered socially, they need to be empowered. What am I missing? You get the point. They need to be empowered, right? Yeah. So when they are empowered, they can build up nations that are more powerful. They can analyze the problem, get the viable solution, get it across the table, convince the people, get them on the same page as you are. Then you're doing the right thing, as long as you're thinking about others. So I think we have kinda very, very briskly skimmed over what why NEDUET is, how it all began 4 years ago. So considering the fact it has just been 4 years, 4.5 years, I am quite grateful that it has grown every time. It has grown with the passage of time, and every new person brings out her, because that's the chair. Every new person that comes to the podium or the chair leads from the front, and that's great. That's something that's laudable. So if you guys have any questions, you are actually quite at the liberty to ask me. But since we are okay, so that was NEDY. Let's move on to why NED 2013. So at the end of 2013, the new executive committee was made, as always, as every year. So we had a new chair. We had the new executive committee of IEEE student branch. So that, when I became the chair in 2013, that was at the start of February. This year at the start of February. So okay, we're gonna stop just for a second. We're gonna take this question. Why did you choose engineering? Okay, why did I choose engineering? That is something very interesting, and that's something that I've been frequently asked. Engineering happens to be something that I love to study. You see, when I was in my high school, there was something with me and maths, there was a connection. That's what I always say, maths and Hiba, they're always together, they're inseparable. So when I knew that maths is my forte, and I knew that I come from a family where there are doctors, so it took a while for me to understand that what is the way for me forward. And since I was a pre-engineering student, that was quite evident in its own way. So I would say why did I choose engineering is because I felt as an engineer I can also prove the fact that just like doctors and other people who are actually related to biology, they're related to medicine, it's quite natural to see them related to the real world. So I wanted to actually disprove the people who didn't believe the fact that engineering had anything to do with the real world. I wanted to prove it by actually acquiring the education in the first place and solving. That is what my end goal is. To realizing that is something that I want to do. Realizing the problems that we are facing. We have communication problems. We have different problems that are pertaining to us. And not even problems. How can you make life better? Like I mentioned before, how can you multitask? Like I believe there need to be a way where I can just lie down when I'm reading my book, and there is a software, no, actually a hardware, a gadget that when I just by the gesture of my hand, it just kind of turns the pages. That is what is engineering. It is actually necessity that at the end of the day you get the invention. You feel this is necessary, you work on it, you find out answers to it. It's a roadmap. At the end of the day you find out the solution. So I believe engineering is more and more realizing the fact that now we are entering into an era of technology that is advancing by the second. I chose engineering because I believe I can contribute more to the betterment of the world, to making world uh, prosper in terms of easing out the different difficulties people face every now and then. So that question's done. We're gonna move on to, yeah, so I was at the recruitment part, right? So in 2003 February, at the conclusion of the IEEE student branch executive committee, uh, that actually had the very uphill task in front of me of getting a team together. I had to make a team that was that had the same motivation that I had. Not the same opinions, but the same motivation, the same goal. They realize the same goal that we are all working for. The women in engineering. You see, we have got two, two main components we need to realize when I'm making the team. I need to realize they need to be hardworking and they need to be talented. Obviously, everyone is talented in one way or the other, but we need to realize that we are converging our talents towards an aim. The aim to get more and more people into engineering, and ultimately to get our message across the table, to get a message, propagate the message of women in engineering and get them to know about the different technologies that are prevailing. So that started the recruitments for IEEE via NEDUET 2013, and it was actually I actually came across some of the best people, the most talented people who would actually, I won't say sacrifice, but they would actually, abandon, forsake their very, very important sleep to just do the work at hand. And I am pretty grateful that, Alhamdulillah, I have got a team together. We are now old. I mean, we are old as far as the team is concerned. It's been now 7, 8 months. Yeah, something like that. 7 months. We are 7 months old as a team now. So we are actually a varied team as far as skills is concerned. Because I, being a debater, somebody who loves to debate, give me a topic, I'm just gonna debate. I wanted people who can be vocal, who can just get their idea forward, talk about it, let people know. They're really good with networking. That's what I wanted. People who can get they can have their, um, they just can propagate the message, they can just propagate everything right briskly out throughout. So I wanted those kind of people, and I've been blessed that they have actually superseded my expectation. They're tremendous people who are working in IEEE and NEDUET. Great. Okay, so we have got a question from Ramata. She's asking, how has Y helped you in making you a better engineer? Well, it's amazing how Y can make anybody a better engineer. Like I mentioned before, Y actually, IEEE generally is all about networking. This is something that Y has helped me as an engineer. I've been able to network. I've been able to come across people from different nations, different regions, different part of the country. I'm sitting in Karachi. They're from Lahore. They're from Faisalabad. I've come across so many people, and they and I have the same common grounds as far as engineering is concerned. And I've been able to learn so much from them. That networking, the importance of that, why has actually kind of, elevated the importance of networking in my life as far as an engineer is concerned. Considering the fact that had there not been any kind of networking, I, or even the IEEE NEDUET branch, wouldn't have been able to come in collaboration with different affinity groups across. We wouldn't have been able to, like in Pakistan Y Forum, TechnoWait was actually a collaboration between the Pakistan Y Forum and the Egypt IEEE section. So that is something I love about IEEE. That is something it helps not only the engineers to be, but the people who have actually achieved their academic goals as far as engineering is concerned. So that's something that I believe IEEE has done. I think that question is satisfactory for you, remember? So we're gonna continue with where we left. So that was the recruitment. Happy, contented chair who has been blessed with the fact that she has been able to handpick some amazing talent that is prevailing in NED and that is making strides in NED. I mean, I'm just not saying this. Just have to see what we have achieved so far. There's so much talent, and to my astonishment, there are more girls in the team because I want to take more girls to actually cross out this concept that people have. The women are not mobilized. They are not easily mobile. They cannot mobilize that easily. They have some reservations. They do, but that can never come in between their, what they are required of to do. Okay. So we have another question that is from Ramalta again. Oh, she seems to be really active. That's great. How has it given you more opportunities than the other grad engineers around you? Okay, I would assume that it is for the women in engineering, the IEEE women in engineering. It has given the engineers to be more opportunities to firstly develop leadership skills. At this level, when I'm not a graduate student, I am actually, okay, have I introduced myself? Okay, I'm actually currently enrolled in yes, I did introduce that. I'm actually enrolled in the Computer Information Systems Engineering program, actually at NED, and I'm in my second year, that is the fourth semester at NED. So I'm actually, this is my second year in NED. So realizing the fact the graduate students have, more years as far as they have more academic years than I have. But what do I have as an upper hand, as far as the graduate students are concerned, is that the IEEE Women in Engineering has given me and many other people across the globe the opportunity to develop leadership skills. That is really important, to lead from the front and to empower women in general. You see, when you're a graduate and there are times when you'll be asked to lead a small group, probably a big company. So to establish those, to nurture those abilities at this stage is something which I believe that IEEE has given to its members, to its volunteers, that gives us an edge over the people who are graduates. What other thing they have done is that they provide you with different, you see, when there is networking, you realize, there are people who are doing, there are opportunities for you to, when you have your project, right? You are working on a project, an engineering project. Now you need finances for that. It's very easy for us, to ask for funds in order to get our project funded, to propagate it, to let the people around the globe know about what we are doing. That's a great way to let your work be known, to let your work be public. So I think that is something which is great about IEEE, that it provides people at a very, I won't say tender age, but at a very, I'd say it's a perfect age to actually get yourself in the corporate market, get yourself knowledgeable of what's going around, how does it work. It's really good. I really enjoy it. So we have NEDUET SMS alert saying Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. That's how we greet in Pakistan and the Muslims around the world. Question from Mia Basit 7. Okay, I'm going to take that question. Some people say that IEEE is just a game for weak children. Even my branch chair. What do you think? Okay, what do I think? Okay, that's it? Okay, I'm just going to get the question again. Some people say that IEEE is just a game for weak children. Even my branch chair. What do you think? It's not a game. I don't get the word game there. It's actually quite insulting to say IEEE is a game. I think the question happens to be a bit vague there. If it is any kind of complaint, or even if it's something that you feel is confusing, you should be able to write it so that I can decipher it well. Okay, we're going to take the next question. Emily Open Sky is asking this question. How did you learn about IEEE and why? That is so easy. Because I came into the institution in 2012 in NED. And when I came into this institution, IEEE was everywhere. So for me to get to know about IEEE and what it's all about was quite easy. I got to know about it through the branch counselors, the volunteers that we have at NED University. They actually guided me to become a part of this organization. And when I did, I realized how beneficial it is for me to be a part of this amazing organization, because it did realize that, nothing I'm going to do is going to go in vain. So that was something great. So if for the people, this is for, I believe, Emily's Open Sky. I hope I pronounced it well. What you're trying to ask, that for the people who don't know, or who are not actually blessed with a student branch in their institution, or they don't happen to, know much about it, it is quite understanding for me to realize that, of course, they will not be getting everything so easy, but I would suggest you, Emily's Open Sky, to log on to IEEE.org if you want to acquire any information regarding it. And I would suggest you, that is something that I would strongly suggest, highly recommend it, to become a part of IEEE, and become a part of Y, because when you become a part of IEEE, the Y membership is actually free for you. And you will know what an amazing opportunity as an engineer you'll be getting. Your career will not be merely getting good GPAs, but it'll be about being practical, implementing your ideas, and just getting it across. So we are just gonna get through the IEEE NEDUET. So I was at the recruitment. Then we had a membership development by the name of that was coincidentally on 8th March 2013. That happens to be the International Women's Day. It was amazing. We had the membership drive by the name of Explore IEEE in NED University that had that just garnered so much support. We had so many people. We had the freshmen at NED, so many of them getting enrolled in NED. We had the faculty members in that they were actually deciphering. They were actually giving out uh, their plentiful knowledge on IEEE, the different benefits of IEEE. Uh, how can IEEE, give you incentive? I mean, actually, how can actually IEEE help you as far as your career is concerned? They actually covered everything from IEEE, what is it about, how many regions it has, to IEEE NEDUET, what does it give you, how can you how can you acquire the benefits of IEEE, and what is it that, and one more question that we got in that membership drive was, when I started the session for IEEE Women in Engineering, a lot of guys in the audience were asking if there are any boys in Y, because they actually get the idea WIE, Women in Engineering, nothing about boys. That's not it. You see, we are all working towards the empowerment of women. That does not isolate men from working for it. So the whole notion, the whole misconception that there's no place for boys in IEEE, it needs to be erased completely. We are all working together. We do not discriminate any gender at all, but we are working towards a particular gender that has got a particular notion about engineering. We want to change that. We want to make them more enrolled in the engineering program. So that's about it. So the membership development event that we had by the name of Explore IEEE was on March 8th, and we had tremendous turnout. We had a house full. We had different people coming into us. We provided them with the membership number. They got themselves enrolled. We facilitated them by getting their money, um, deposited via credit cards. It was all amazing. Then IEEE had its first mentoring session. It was and it had a very amazing name. I love the name actually. It was Get Wired Up. It's like Get Wired Up. So yeah, they were all ready to get wired up. They were all ready to know what is it that is in store for them, what they have to know before, now they are part of the IEEE Affinity group, right? What do they have to do? What does the marketing team has to do? What is their task? What are the do's? What are the don'ts? What is it that they mustn't ever do? What is it that they should do? So basically there were the do's and the don'ts and their queries. Basically the people who had the prior experience of marketing, of documentation, of leading a team, of realizing what are the problems that are faced in a team. We have different people, we have different opinions. What do you do? These are the things that are really important as far as the smooth proceedings are concerned. That was covered in that. I'm shouting because I have to cover a lot of things. Okay, so that was Get Wired Up. They were wired up, they were all excited, they were all ready to work for me, and because they're amazing people, they're amazing. So they were all pumped up. Next up we had Reboot the Earth. Now Reboot the Earth had, okay, before we move on to Reboot the Earth, because that's a big topic, I'm going to just take another question. That is from Ayman Yusuf. How is your journey going so far as the chair of YNEDUET? Share some good experiences with us. Oh, well, share some. It can actually ask for a lot. I have some amazing experience as the chair of YNEDUET. It's really hard for me to single out anyone. Well, the fact This one time, I'm actually one of those people who bring their own lunches, even at this age. Even when I'm not in my teens, sadly, to bring their lunches to university, right? So we were having the preparations for Reboot the Earth. That was our mega mega event. So I brought in my lunch, and every one of them were like working tirelessly. My whole team, they were like all so tired. They were hungry. They were like ready to eat me, or rather, the other way around. So I just had this little lunch box, that I had brought in from home, and they were all. I kind of offered it to them, and they were like. I just opened it up, and they were all like pouncing over it. It was. I felt that I should have not given it like that. It would have been actually distributed equally. Well, yeah, that is one of the many things that I have. That would require one more session that we might as well have. So we're just gonna have. I think that actually, does quench your question, Ayman, Yusuf. Right. So we're gonna move on to the next question really quickly. Yusra Afaq is asking this question. How do you think your affinity group is different from others? Come on, we're Indians, right? No, just kidding. How is our group different? Firstly, more ladies in the group. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that because at most of the engineering because that was intentionally. I wanted more girls in my team. And how is it different? Because when I started off this year as the chair, I had actually made it very clear. We are gonna work on making women speak up. So that's why we have more and more events that are more about empowering them vocally, making them able to speak up, because that's really important. They don't speak up. They need to speak up. They need to let people know how talented they are. So that is how different we are. We try to empower women by speaking up, by stimulating them to speak up. Speak up, woman. That's what we say, right? So we are actually on Reboot the Earth, right? So that was in April. We had this amazing event, Reboot the Earth. I happen to have something about this event a lot. This event is really close to the people who have come from the same school that I have. Celebrating Earth Day. That is something that was celebrated in my school when I was in school. When I came to NED, when I became a chair of, I realized the importance of having an event that realizes the importance of responsible engineers. The engineers who can take care of their environment. They can be responsible. They just do not emit the carbon, the CFCs, the carbon dioxide from the different, fuel burning. They are efficient. They are as efficient as their technology. They are responsible, and they want to be able to, just make themselves useful, make themselves quite responsible. So that was the whole idea behind Reboot the Earth. We had a 3-day event as far as Reboot is concerned. The first day we had the big picture. The big picture actually was made up of all the recyclables, everything disposable, the dry recyclable material, from the basically the non-biodegradable and the biodegradable material. That was how it was classified. And we actually did become successful enough to make an image of an earth with those recyclables, and then we made the reboot sign as well. The sign actually had a tree on it along with the power button. So we only used the recyclables, everything. We didn't buy anything as far as those recyclables were concerned. We were able to make that tree wholly out of those recyclable material. And we made handmade badges for all the participants, all the team members, and I actually brought one or two to show you. If you can see it, if it's visible. This is the one. These were actually made by my team members. They were quite creative. So yeah, they were sporting these badges all the 3 days, on all the 3 days. So yeah, so that was the first day. We took a great ample amount of pictures from every angle to capture that big picture that we had made on the first day. On the second day, we had the beach cleaning, the very adventurous event that we had planned. We had the NED shuttle bus service for that purpose, to actually for boarding, the participants to the Karachi beach. They were actually taken there. They had their protective gloves on. They collected all the all the garbage that was there on the beach. They did a pretty awesome job. The beach was actually very clean when we came out, and we had a treat after that. We had lunch. That was great. After a hard day of work, we had something to eat, and that was a big day. That was a really big day as far as what we achieved then. We took everyone from NED. We cleaned the beach. We were able to make our mark. We got ourselves imprinted on the sands, and that was something great. And then on the third day, since we had two prior events, one was of the photography, that was to capture photographs relating to pollution, and the second event that we had was about making paper bags out of merely out of three basic components. We had the paper, basically newspaper, glue, and tapes. So they were able to make, the person who makes the most bags and it was able to meet the standards that we had set was actually the winner. So we're going to take just two more questions now. The first question is from Rida Mehta. How to join why in NED? When are you calling recruitment again? Okay, so for recruitment, we actually have our doors open every time, but we actually have interviews. You need to go through a phase of interviews where you can actually tell us what are your preferences, what are your skills, and if we deem that you don't actually feel that your reservations can overpower your dedication, we believe you're dedicated, then you'll be getting into our YND meeting. You can actually we have the recruitments open all throughout the year. As far as I'm concerned, I'm actually ready to take everybody in. So we're going to take the next question. It's from Ramalka again. IEEE is about electronics and electrical department. Can other department benefits as well from Y? How? Okay, yeah, the notion basically is IEEE Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. The first thing that comes to your mind, okay, this is about electrical and electronic engineer. It was initially targeting, or was actually focused on electrical and electronics engineer, but eventually when you see the technology expanding and it is encompassing all the other fields of engineering, we have mechanical engineering. Now mechanical engineering, it's very basic to realize the fact that mechanical engineers do, every engineering is actually interdependent on other engineering, right? They need the technology, they need different they need the electronic engineers to provide them with different applications in order to facilitate them. So I don't think any field of engineering is actually isolated from any other engineering. And how does Y actually accommodate that? Y is about women in engineering, right? So it is about women, empowering women academically, socially, and professionally. So when women are empowered professionally, socially, and academically, they have, irrespective of whatever engineering they have, it doesn't really matter. So why it is actually encompassing every other engineering now. So we have 10 minutes remaining. So we're just gonna go over the reboot again. So we had the second competition about paper bag fabrication, right? That was amazing. The more bags people made, the better it was, and it had to meet the certain standards that we had set, and that was amazing. We actually did go on to collaborating with different departmental stores here, grocery stores here, who actually decided to distribute that on the Environment Day. That was the 5th June. We actually did ask them to get those bags distributed on Environment Day to mark the fact that we are not going to use the polythene bags, we're going to use the paper bags. So that was the reboot. That was the second competition at the reboot. And on the third day, we had the prize distribution. We had the different prizes distributed to the people who were amazing, who did a great job as far as photography is concerned. They were able to capture the message. They were able to make the bags, which were meeting the standards. Then we had on third and on fifth, from third to fifth, we had the NED Parliamentary Debating Championship. It was basically a great venture for the NEDians. NED parliamentary debating is something which is extempore. You get the topic, then you just get 30 minutes to prepare it. Topics are very current, it is something which is focusing on, like, the fact that if we should, if there was just one topic that we had there, that there was a topic that was really good. Yeah, the fact that we should legalize. It was actually quite amazing. It was if we should legalize marriages between teachers and students. That was amazing how students got up, and it is a very serious debate. And they tried to bring up arguments, try to link it back, give very viable arguments for that. So that was something that we were able to get great debaters out of NED who are going to be engineers ultimately at the end of their 3 or 4 years of education, after 3 or 4 years. So that was once again another venture as far as debating is concerned, public speaking is concerned. So NED Parliamentary Debating Championship was able to get more and more people from NED to realize the potential in public speaking, get to know that as engineers they're even able to get their talent of public speaking get it more polished. So we had 2 training sessions for that prior to the event, prior to the actual championship. That event was amazing. I actually did get accolades from the chairman of our humanities department, the lady who actually is the head of the English department. She realized that this was something that NED had to do a very long time ago, but alhamdulillah we were able to get that done. So a great encouragement from the Vice Chancellor as well, Miss Karen Panetta, the editor-in-chief of IEEE Women in Engineering magazine. I got great accolades from her. Miss Kiana Tenen, she has been amazing throughout the course of my tenure. She has been really supportive. And the VC, or NED University VC, he was so appreciative of whatever we did in Reboot, whatever we did in NPDC, because the duration between the 2 events, Reboot and NPDC, was just 1 week. And to be able to achieve that, to be able to get another event, on board just after a week, is something that was, at first we were like feeling, okay, will we be able to achieve it? Will we not? We were just going on the fence. But when we started to get everything together, everything just kind of it just came out really well. Everything got together, we were able to get that event done. And out of all the odds that, we had, people were saying, how can you get the event in a week? That's like, but, alhamdulillah, I'd like to thank Allah Ta'ala and the people around me. Our Vice Chancellor, Muhammad Afzal Haq, he has been very appreciative throughout the course of my tenure. Okay, so we're going to take one more question, then we're going to move on to our next venture in Bahraini QET. So the question is, how important do you think it is to be connected to Bahai as a woman who is an engineer? Wow. how important is it is to be connected to why as woman who is an engineer. So I mean, you are a lady who is an engineer. Obviously, you need to know if you are a woman who is in engineering, it is quite easier for you to get all the information regarding the technological developments, the developments in the engineering field at your fingertips. When you are connected to women in engineering, they'll be providing you, as far as your grade is concerned, if you're a student member, they'll be providing you with scholarships. They'll be providing with opportunities where you can actually get your project propagated. But if you're an engineer, if you're talking about the fact the person has actually gotten themselves the degree, they're now professionals, they can become mentors. They can do very important mentoring for the people who want to know about engineering. You can become a source of inspiration for all the people who are ladies just like you. You can motivate more people. You can connect you can actually know the commonality in your field. And IEEE Women in Engineering offers you that sort of filtered information regarding your technology. You will know what is happening in that technology. You can get ample amount of research across the table. They have different competitions every now and then. They have different conferences where you can go exhibit your work, get to know what other people are doing. So basically you're connected even when you're not an engineer, when you're trying to be one. When you are an engineer, you're becoming somebody whom other people can look up to. So either way, you need to be connected. We need to be connected to get mentors. You need to be connected so that you can provide people with beneficial information. You can provide your projects to different people to get their work on it. This is what networking that we had talked about earlier. So I think that is the question, and I hope that is quenching the retort to that. So we're gonna move on to our next venture of YNEDUET. Not the next, the last venture that we had at YNEDUET. We had a venture on 15th August 2013 that was called Highway to Redmond. Now that was I'm going to just say it again since I kind of skipped it a little bit. Highway to Redmond. This was a milestone as far as YNED is concerned. In particular, YNED. Why? Because NED has had many people from different companies come to, this institution and let people know, educate them basically about what Google is, what Android has to offer, what other application softwares have to offer, and how to develop them basically. So this was the first time that we had the Microsoft technologists, the people who are really excelled in their work. They know how to they are actually equipped to the teeth as far as Microsoft is concerned. We had such an amazing interactive session on 15th August. The event had 3 phases actually. It covered the latest Microsoft technologies. We will be taking a 5-minute break because we'll be observing the prayer calls. By the way, this is the namaz. I'm giving the prayer call break. We're having prayer call right now, the azan. So we'll be taking a little break now. Okay. Thank you very much for observing that little break. We were actually observing a little moment of silence because we had the azan, the prayer call going on in Pakistan right now. So we had to be actually silent then. Okay, so we're gonna continue where we left. So Redmond, highway to Redmond had three basic components, or I would say three basic sections that it was covering. The latest technologies that Microsoft has to offer, including its latest operating system, the Windows 8. It was actually revealed what features it has, how it is better than the previous operating system. It actually did encompass the fact that it has got more memory as far as, Gmail is concerned. It was actually trying to do a comparative analysis, a relative analysis, I would say, between different, mailing options that you have, or the previous Microsoft mailing options, and how different is the Microsoft Outlook from, the previous features of the previous features that it had to offer. It also did encompass the framework of Microsoft. We had a very detailed session from our three amazing technologists, Mr. Umair Panjwani and Mr. Atif Hussain. They covered it brilliantly. They are one of the people who are pioneers in giving different workshops on different Microsoft frameworks and how Microsoft technologies are being used, their applications in our day-to-day life. Okay, so that was the first section. The second section encompassed what technological, entrepreneurial, basically, opportunities does Microsoft have. Okay, you are becoming a Microsoft professional. You are certified as a Microsoft professional. What's next? How can you actually become a Microsoft certified professional when you are still in a university pursuing a degree program? So it had different options for you as far as Microsoft is concerned. How can you become a member of those lucrative people who are working for Microsoft, and how, as the name suggests, highway to Redmond? How can you reach there? Your final destination should be working for that mega gigantic company that has done so much. So how can you let your capabilities be used in order to get a job at Microsoft? So that was the second section, entrepreneurial opportunities at Microsoft. And the third session was actually my personal favorite. We had Miss Umaima Adil there. She happens to be the youngest Pakistani Microsoft certified professional, and she gave a very comprehensive session on what are the key elements in becoming a successful entrepreneur. Now, there's a difference between entrepreneurial opportunities and actually, converting those opportunities into success stories. So she was there, who shared with us her very impressive, accolades that she had achieved at such a tender age. Now she happens to be pursuing her O levels. Her high school has just incepted. So she shared with us what are the key points, the components of a successful entrepreneur, how to be motivated, how to not lose hope when everything else is going, when everything else is falling apart. How can you not lose hope at the end of the day? So those were some of the things that were actually a cherry on top of the cake. That's how I put it. It actually kind of wrapped up everything. You know everything about Microsoft. You know the opportunities that they have to offer, and the last tool that you need to know is how do you grab them? How do you convert them? How do you make them? You know, how do you just kind of grab them? So that is something that this whole event, the Highway to Redmond, had to offer. And there was a house full. We actually had to send people, we actually had to tell off people that, we are full. So this is just to say that we had a house full. That was not even an achievement. That was showcasing the fact that people here are interested. People in NED in particular, in Pakistan obviously, they're interested to get themselves knowledgeable about, how did this person, reach that pinnacle of success, or how do these companies work? How is it that we know, if we know that we can do something, we can contribute our technological efforts in some other way, how is it that we can get ourselves to become a part of this big gigantic company in a good way, of course. So that was something that we were able to achieve so far. So this was the whole journey that I have had as the chair of NEDUET 2013, and we have more ideas coming up. We'll be coming up with bigger and better ventures that can not only make IEEE if actually more reachable for people all over the world, and it can actually, at the end of the day, bring in more women to this field of engineering, because it is really important to get skillful, dedicated, and smart women into the corporate market, because they contribute a lot as far as their skills are concerned, their talent, and the gray matter is concerned. You can't actually avoid that. So we're just going to take one last question, then I'm just going to wrap it up. Okay, it's Eamon Yusuf. She's asking how to take membership of Y. Okay, if you're talking about, of course, you're talking about the IEEE global membership, the international membership that you get. All you have to do is go to IEEE.org/women. You'll be having the page there. It will be having a comprehensive detail on how to become a member of IEEE. It is just required to become a member of Y, you need to first actually be a member. It is a prerequisite for you to be a member of IEEE. They have, at the IEEE Women in Engineering, they have these yearly, discounts for the first timers. In April we had this half price discount. So they offer you great discounts, not only for membership, but they offer you discounts for conferences as a Y member. As a Y member, you get added advantages, you get added opportunities. So, just go to the IEEE.org women. You have a detailed membership procedure there. You have to check the Women in Engineering in your cart, which is a mandatory if you want to become a Women in Engineering member, and which is for free. Okay, we have a last question. I said I was going to take, that was going to be the last question. I'm just going to have a look at it. Okay, so this is a question that I can just skim it through. Okay, how many more events do you wish to have? A lot. I think that is the number that has no digits. So, I think that answers the question that Ms. Yusra Afaq was asking. Yeah, okay. So, it was a great initiative, as I mentioned before, taken by the IEEE Women in Engineering. Actually, IEEE Women in Engineering has given me and my Affinity group so much that it is really not sufficient for me to thank them in words. I would like to specially thank these people, and they are in no particular order. Firstly, the IEEE chair, Ma'am Neeta Patel. She has been so encouraging. She has been really encouraging since the Reboot event. She just has been a ray of motivation for all of us. And Ma'am Karen Panetta, the editor-in-chief of IEEE Women in Engineering, Ma'am Takako Hashimoto, Ma'am Erika Chai, we have, okay, am I forgetting? Yeah, Mr. Kanlu. We have Mr. Parla Birja. She has been amazing. She has been outstanding. I love working with her. And last but not the least, actually, there are more people. Uh, Last but not the least, the lady who has been the the encouragement behind. I mean, she was the one who has given me the opportunity to be part of this amazing chat, to be able to address every one of you, to let you know about what my views are, and to kind of get what you people have, to get the feeling what are kind of questions. And I hope I have been able to answer your questions. But this lady, Miss Kiana Tennant, has been phenomenal throughout since my tenure, and I thank you so much, Kiana. And I'd like to thank my branch counselor, Hassan Saeed, who has been amazingly supportive throughout the IEEE, former IEEE chair. I'd like to thank Wahaba Hussain, Mehwiz Zahoor, Rabeed Sagri, Rabia Khalid, Rehma Javed. These people have been, since the inception of my tenure, I've been able to, sorry, I've been able to, get assistance from all these people who have been phenomenal. So I'd like to thank these people, and it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.